But now let's bring in George Tsilis, senior markets correspondent here on the network. George, I wanted to hit on Palantir, got downgraded today. Every time I look at this company, the inroads they're making in AI, but then I looked at the number of customers that they have. Last quarter, it went up to 161 only. I mean, it seems like this data analytics moving into AI makes sense across the board, but this stock getting pounded today and downgraded.
Yeah, it is. Look at the downgrade today. Citibank basically downgraded to underweight from equal weight, and they've got now basically a price target at $9. And I think the reason being is if you think about artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, data intelligence, if you will, that's essentially the roots of Palantir. And the roots also are really founded in the military. The Department of Defense was a major customer, which actually helped the foundations of Palantir, but the challenges for Palantir is breaching the private sector. They have been moving more so into the private sector realm of the equation, but the challenge also from that standpoint is think about the competition now when it comes down to commercial and enterprise level based customers. Now, if you look at the report last quarter, which was published on the 7th of August, sales only grew about 13%. The total customer count on the commercial side, which is the private sector outside of course, the Department of Defense business they have, grew about 30%. So one would say perhaps that despite the number of customer count increase for Palantir, they may have had to make some concessions to keep existing customers in the private sector on board with their software. So I think this is an interesting situation where we're seeing a divergence of the better playing, if you will, valuation AI-based stocks. I'm going to put Nvidia out there, maybe Aristanet as another one that's actually hitting new 52-week highs versus Palantir, because if you look at the projections last year, they were expecting 30% compound annual growth rates in sales by 2025 or through 2025. Obviously, they missed that last quarter. If you look at the earnings profile for Palantir, they're expecting about 23 cents a share. That's on an adjusted basis for this year. But 2024 is not very meaningful at 26 cents. That's about 12% growth. But the kicker is it's trading around 73 times forward earnings. And so that's about 5 times EBITDA. It's expensive. And I think that's one of the reasons why Citi is downgrading the stock. And I also think one of the other reasons why is there's a lot of competition now at the private sector level. And that's what I think is challenging Palantir.
You know, George, I'm going to read you a quote from the Citigroup note on Palantir.
Morgan Stanley,
sorry.
Morgan Stanley
yes,
downgraded.
I thought it was. And it's going to be nightmare fuel for people that are long AI stocks, and that is this. Looking for a tangible revenue contribution from generative AI, and the fact that Palantir had the lack of a monetization strategy. So therefore, George, these people, there's so much excitement about AI, but these people got to find out how to make money from it. And when they do, there's going to be winners, George, and there's going to be losers.
Absolutely. I think we're seeing that divergence happening. I mean, it comes down to tangible income. And I think that's where you're going to start to see the divergence away from the competition. In other words, there's a lot of competition out there for the private sector AI. I mean, just think about Google and Microsoft altogether are very competitive in this space. Salesforce also is very competitive in the artificial intelligence area from an ERP or enterprise resource planning software standpoint, or even CRM or customer relations management software standpoint. That's really where Palantir's growth estimates came from. It was the private sector. Now their core business, their core government business, their public sector business is still robust. That's helping keep their business operating. But I think you're just going to see now a valuation divergence. Very expensive AI stocks that have haven't proven themselves from a tangible standpoint to make profits from it yet. I think Palantir fits in that same space, along with C3 AI, by the way, which is symbol AI, versus companies that are tangibly making profits from AI, and that's again some of the hardware companies like Aristanet and of course Nvidia.
Yeah, I think some of the inline results have said you got to be patient on a stock like this moving forward as they continue to monetize. All right, thanks to George Tsilis joining us, breaking down Palantir.